Van life in the Yucatan and Quintana Roo has been a beautiful struggle. The highs of having ancient ruins all to ourselves. The lows of the van breaking down again. The highs of pools, cenotes, and oceans. The lows of tight spaces, hot nights, and ants in the van. If we did not have the struggle, it would not be an adventure. If the road was easy, everyone would be on it. We are here for the highs and the lows. We embrace them both. In the end, it makes those special moments that much sweeter. Next stop, Valladolid. Ali says it better. You'll see. We jumped in the van and headed across the Yucatan, ready for more adventure. We arrived at Chopec Bee Park a few hours late. I think I'm right on the pronunciation there. Bear with me on that one. I mean, check out the spelling. Xkopek. That's tough. We pulled up to an oasis, a freshwater pool on a bee park. We actually did a bee tour in the morning and were blown away by all the species that live in the Yucatan. One of the best things about camping in Mexico is that some of the sites are just a short walk into town. Sure enough, a cab ride for 20 pesos, and 5 minutes later, we were in the center of town. One of my favorite things to do is ask a local how to pronounce the name of their city, especially when this is the spelling.
Valladolid.
Muchas gracias.
Sí.
Valladolid.
We are in Valladolid. Feeling the good vibes. We are here just off the main square in front of this beautiful church in Valladolid. This is designated as a Puebla Mágica by the government, and it is filled with beautiful, colorful colonial buildings. Valladolid is smack dab in the middle of Cancun and Merida, and is definitely a spot you want to stop while you're in the Yucatan.
As night began to fall, we went in search of food. True to the roots of this trip, we stuck to street food.
Of course, we gotta stop for our cochinita. If you're in Valladolid, you gotta hit up the streetcar. It's good stuff. But if you really want to try some cochinita pibil, you gotta check out Merida.
The next day, we got up early to hit the famous ruins of Chichén Itzá. Chichén Itzá sees over 2.6 million tourists per year. At $26 per person, it was one of the more expensive ruins that we visited. With all that said, it was grand, breathtaking, and worth a trip. It was one of the largest Mayan cities, and has even been said to have its own suburbs, with smaller homes occupying the outskirts of the city at its height. To think about the commerce, the people, the history, and the amount of hardship that went into creating and maintaining a place like this back then, it's just mind-blowing. It is an epic day trip to be immersed in the atmosphere of Chichén Itzá. We highly recommend a visit. The next day, we did some cenote hopping. A cenote refers to an underground chamber or cave which contains permanent water. It is a natural sinkhole where the ceiling has collapsed. The Yucatan Peninsula is basically a flat piece of limestone which used to be a gigantic reef millions of years ago. The sea level has dropped and created this amazing peninsula. It is estimated that there are over 7,000 cenotes in the Yucatan. We are at Cenote Hopping, and it has been a super cool experience. You hike down into this cave, opens up to this big cenote. There's some fish in there, water's really cool. And up here, as you can see in some of the video, there's one hole that shines down light into this cave. Really, really neat. The water's a bit chilly though. There's 150 pesos per person to get in, 100 pesos for the kids. So it was a little on the expensive end, but overall a really cool experience. All right, so we've made our way to the second cenote, which is in the same complex, Capche, I believe it's called. And this one is, nobody's here. The other one is picturesque with the ray of light shining through. This one's half open, little muddy, hard to get out there, and no one's chosen to swim here. So a little bit of a different cenote experience. But hey, it's 2 for 1 here. 2 cenotes for the price of 1. It is nuts. The pit of the cenote is just behind me. There's no
rail or a guard or anything up. I'm gonna go check it out. We just actually walked in and asked here. The cenotes range here from government owned to private owned. So if they're privately owned, then it's a cooperative, like a group of families that own it, which I learned a lot about when I did my Tongo video. You can check that out above. It's interesting. If they had the land, if they discovered it, and then if they want to build out the infrastructure for it. Pretty cool.
The only way I could do it was remembering how hot I'm gonna be in the van in like 15 minutes, so my body's cold, but it's gonna be real hot real soon. Can't believe I did it though. It's cold.
The cenote is called Chichén Itzá. It's a very tough one to pronounce, super long letters. We got the sign out front. It was 175 pesos for us as adults to get in. Children under 7 were free, so they were free for us. And this one exceeded our expectations. It was a little bit off the beaten path. Not many people are here. We kind of got it to ourselves, got swimming around, got a bunch of footage, and really, really cool experience for the cenotes. Next stop, the state of Quintana Roo, home of Cancun, Playa del Carmen, and Tulum. A few major tourist destinations that I still cannot believe we drove our van to as a family of 4. Van life in the Yucatan is great, and that's the beach, like right past that restaurant that's overpriced and not very good. But it's cool because we can park right here and there's a pool and there's a beach. But it's proven to be challenging without air conditioning. So here's the typical evening dinner. Kitchen is packed, crowded, kids are in their beds. The front is packed, crowded. Stuff on the seats, stuff over there, stuff over here. As a family traveling, it's not very easy for us to keep every single thing in the van perfectly neat. We like to spread out when we get to sites, which is proven to be hard in Mexico and hard in the Yucatan because there are not many camp spots that we've discovered around Cancun, Playa del Carmen, Tulum area. So we're here at one and feel good and safe. I mean, the spot's cool, I get it. There are palm trees, we're here, it's awesome. But it is so stifling hot. The door has to stay like this in the evening. Luckily we have an ocean breeze, so the mosquitoes are minimal, but bugs have gotten in the van. We found a caterpillar in there last night. And the Yucatan just has a lot of bugs. Sleep with the door open doesn't make you feel the best, but hey, that is van life in the Yucatan. Yeah, fresh quesadillas, little guacamole, some salsa. Looks like a helping for a child, but hey, we don't have any food left in the van, and we didn't have time to go to the grocery store today or tonight, and we're not eating at overpriced restaurants again. So this is van life in the Yucatan. Hashtag work with what you got. I mean, it's still really good and not the end of the world, but it's just gonna be what it is tonight for dinner.
I got lucky enough to get the cereal dinner tonight because we used up all the cheese, all the avocados, and everybody else. But it's rare that I get cereal, so it's not so bad.
Would this be a usual dinner spot for you?
Well, you're sharing it with my water here. I think usually I'd probably take my water off. But yeah, it's so hot here. It's the only place to get a breeze. And now that the van's extra hot, because I just had the stove on for the last 20 minutes, it's the only place to cool down.
Van life in Quintana Roo is gonna start with some exercise. It's been a habit I've fallen off of, but I need to get back into. Did it yesterday, felt amazing, going back at it today. It's so hot here, it actually feels like you're working out before you work out. That doesn't mean you shouldn't get it in. Look at this, super cool. With like the trees covering the walkway, provides a little shade. It's breezy because the ocean is literally right there with tons of little walkways and passages out. Plus, there's even a cenote down on the path, a free one. Considering we paid 200 pesos for some of those other cenotes, this is a deal. Breakfast made after I get back to my run. Amazing. And a breakfast of champions in Mexico. Eggs, tortillas, salsa verde. I mean, I don't know if it gets much better.
The Tulum Ruins surprised and amazed us. The ruins are on top of these 40-foot cliffs that overlook the Caribbean Sea. It is a stunning sight, but imagining an ancient Mayan city here in the 15th century just feels magical. The Mayans occupied this city from around 1200 AD to the 15th century. Overall, we felt this was one of the best preserved coastal Maya sites that we observed. We highly recommend visiting.
These ruins here, you hear the ocean right behind us with the waves crashing and the ocean breeze. I had no idea it was so close to the water, but super impressive. Wow, those Tulum ruins were awesome. Now we're off to Bakalar.
Yeah, this spot's gonna work. Van's here, lake's here. Let's go check it out.
Bakalar is a beautiful town off the beaten path. The locals refer to the lagoon as the Sea of Seven Colors because its beauty is just mesmerizing. Join us next week as we explore this amazing place.